Mr. Speaker, just over 2 weeks ago, on October the 31st, 2020, 7 months after our international borders were closed, principally to help curb the COVID-19 pandemic, St. Kitts and Nevis reopened our borders and welcomed visitors from around the world. We had been preparing for this day for a very long time, working with our medical professionals to develop a two-phase plan that would allow us to safely and responsibly open. We established specific entry and travel requirements for our visitors. We developed protocols to keep our frontline workers, our citizens, and our residents safe, and conducted training for stakeholders in every single sector of the industry in those health and those safety protocols. We created a Travel Approved program, which awards a Travel Approved certificate and seal for stakeholders successfully completing the training and inspection of the operations respectively. Mr. Speaker, we collaborated with the airline partners to establish our airlift schedule for November, including American Airlines service from Miami, Seabourn from San Juan, and just this past Saturday, Winnie a service out of St. Martin. For the month of November, all airlines will operate weekly Saturday service into the RLB International Airport. And additionally, starting on November the 21st, American Airlines will add Wednesday and Sunday rotations to accommodate those traveling from the US for Thanksgiving. And while the British Airways was previously scheduled to start on November the 7th, their service was temporarily suspended due to the UK 1-month national lockdown. Our first commercial flight, Mr. Speaker, landed on November the 7th, disembarking a total of 100 passengers arriving on American Airlines from Miami and Seabourn out of San Juan. The passengers were proficiently processed through the RLB International Airport and transported to their various accommodations using 29 travel-approved taxi operators. These operators average 2 jobs each and earn fares ranging from $16 to some $28. Over the period October 31st to present, we have processed through the RLB International Airport, arriving there, some 382 passengers. And we have processed some 292 passengers departing. Mr. Speaker, our visitors were lodged at 6 different accommodations. Our international visitors stayed at the Four Seasons Resort, Park Hyatt, and the Royal St. Kitts Hotel, while our nationals and our residents stayed at the OTI, Wally Beach, Potworks, and the Royal St. Kitts Hotel, which also received some 39 students during that period. As Phase 1 continues, Mr. Speaker, I'm very pleased to report that some 4,314 persons out of a possible 5,000 persons in the tourism industry have completed the travel-approved training at no expense to them. In St. Kitts, some 2,814 persons have been trained, and in Nevis, some 1,500 persons. And while the accommodation sector, SCASPER and the airport team and taxi operators trained the largest number of persons, every sector, Mr. Speaker, in the tourism industry has been represented. Mr. Speaker, having provided a benchmark from our first visitor arrivals and our progress towards achieving full training of the tourism industry sector, I would like to take a moment to look forward and to review our position as we move towards peak season 2020 and beyond. The Federation's current hotel room inventory for international travelers is comprised of 188 rooms at the Four Seasons, 40 rooms at Paradise Beach, 114 rooms at the Park Hyatt, and 56 rooms at the Royal St. Kitts. Our inventory will increase on November the 21st, when the Marriott Beach Vacation Club will open with 88 rooms. On December 4th, when Koi Resort opens, it opens with 102 rooms. And on December the 15th, when the Marriott Resort opens, it opens with 75 rooms. And with an additional 30 rooms in villas and condos and apartments, we will go into the peak season with a total projected room stock of some 693 rooms approved for international visitors. And Mr. Speaker, as we approach what would be our normal peak season travel, we must take note that the second wave of the pandemic is on the rise in many countries around the world, including in our key source markets of the US, Canada, the UK. And it's impacting travel intent and travel behavior. The United States, Mr. Speaker, has surpassed its own records of new cases and deaths just last week. And the fall surge of the coronavirus continues to run rampant across a great part of the United States. Public health officials are cautioning against large family gatherings over the holidays, as Americans plan to celebrate with only family members living in the household or by traveling to get away from it all. Airlines, Mr. Speaker, are adding domestic and Caribbean capacity to handle the increased holiday demand, a demand that we can see reflected in America's inbound loads from Miami. The upcoming load factors, Mr. Speaker, into St. Kitts are as follows. We expect on somewhere in the region of 77% on November the 21st, 58% on November the 22nd, 49% on November the 25th, 50% November the 28th, and 60% outbound from St. Kitts to Miami on November the 29th. Arriving flights, Mr. Speaker, on December the 5th and December the 12th are 76% and 70% respectively. We are told by the airlines that they see much shorter booking lead times as travelers wait until the last minute at this time to make decisions. Mr. Speaker, in the United Kingdom, the one-month national lockdown aimed at curbing the rapid spread of the virus was put in place on Thursday, November the 5th. And this is scheduled to run until December the 2nd, when it's lifted. The government has asked people to stay at home and the limited interactions with others outside of their pandemic bubble. And so, Mr. Speaker, with the projected short-term nature of this lockdown, British Airways will have their winter sun campaign, which St. Kitts and Nevis is a part of, in the market from November the 9th to November the 23rd, 2020. And this is really to drive awareness and bookings to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis from April 2021 to December 2021. And as a partner destination, St. Kitts and Nevis will be allowed a leading price for round-trip air travel, 7 nights accommodation, which will be featured in the customized creative on BA's social media channels, Mr. Speaker. When we look at Canada, Mr. Speaker, Canada has gained recognition for efficiently handling the virus last spring and over the summer. But unfortunately, it did not escape the fall surge in many cases, Mr. Speaker. And so health officials report Thursday just gone, was the worst for new infections out of Canada since the beginning of the crisis last spring, particularly in the regions of Ontario and Quebec. And experts suggest that the relaxing of the health and safety protocols and large family gatherings in the homes during Canadian Thanksgiving may have triggered the spike. And so, Mr. Speaker, Air Canada has also become a victim of the crisis. The Air Canada service, which was scheduled to commence on October the 31st, then rescheduled for November the 21st, and then rescheduled again for December the 5th. But a 90% decrease in demand from last year caused unsustainable losses and with no indication of any government intervention on their part. And so there will be no Air Canada flight this year, Mr. Speaker, I must announce. And so the Air Canada management has indicated that the flight will resume in the fall of 2021. And so our pre-pandemic load factors of some 86%, which were excellent at the time, for our destination, has now basically gone to naught as a consequence of the pandemic. And so, Mr. Speaker, this summarizes our status at this point. However, Mr. Speaker, it would be remiss of me not to commend, Mr. Speaker, the teams of the Ministry of Health, the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, the Ministry of Tourism, SCASPA, and all stakeholders for what I would consider a magnificent job thus far in ensuring that our borders opened on October the 31st and with some degree of success. And as we have noted before, Mr. Speaker, our performance on the phase 1 will dictate what will take place in phase 2. And so I'm confident that if our citizens and our residents continue to follow the health and safety guidelines and take accountability for their own behavior, we will keep our destination safe and responsibly keep our borders open. Our unique and authentic tourism product really continues to inspire visitors to travel to our shores. And so visitors who in turn contribute to our socio-economic growth and improve livelihoods for all of us. And so we hope, Mr. Speaker, that going forward with our borders open and the accountability taken by our citizens in general, that we will have a safe passage through these unpredictable times. If it pleases me, Mr. Speaker.